What's up guys, Omni here. You guys know how it goes, another day, another video. Last night I tweeted I sleep. What recent news, topic, tweets, videos you want me to talk about tomorrow? Hey guys, today is Tuesday, September 30th. Okay, we got 1 or 2 more days. Is there September 31st? I don't think so. Okay, we got one more day, and then we're in October, and then we are officially into spooky season. The best season. Do you guys feel that? Do you feel it? Do you smell it? The brisk air, the leaves, the autumns, the dead bugs, okay? The coffee, the lo-fi vibes to chill and be. Do you feel your stress levels relaxing? Hey, do you want to go outside? No, I don't want to go outside. I want to stay inside, drink hot chocolate, and mind my business. Hey, Omni, you want to go to a club this weekend? No. It's cold, it's brisk, it's chilly. You know what I want to do? I want to stay inside and play all of the amazing freaking video games that have been coming out this year that's on my backlog. I want to stay inside, be in sage mode. The reason why I'm saying this, right, is because I feel like you and I are on the same page. And we're about to be in that mode, that Zen mode, that Batman mode, that relaxed mode. Or no matter what's happening around this fucky wucky world, you know, it doesn't matter no more because it's spooky season and it's time to chill. Oh, here's Indy. Here's spooky Indy. This man's like 13 or 14. He says hi. He misses you guys. He loves you guys. Okay, drop a like. We're gonna have some good vibes on today's video. We got a lot to talk about. Okay, so drop a like, all right, and subscribe if you guys haven't already. So guys, we got an epic moment in gaming, completely legendary, and everybody is big baby rage, sad, upset, scared, worried, annoyed. I don't know what you want to call it. Okay, EA Games. It's in the game. Electronic Arts. Okay, they're the guys that make all of the sports games for all of the games in the world. Okay, if you have a person or a friend who says like, yeah, I just play EA Games, okay, just dismiss them. They're not a true gamer. They're one of those sports people who just literally just play Madden and NFL 2K and NBA 2K and they don't touch nothing else, okay? They're not cultured, okay? But we'll get into that later. But all of those games that have been coming out, one of the biggest franchises in gaming just got acquired from, well, Giganator said EA being bought out by Saudi consortium for $55 billion. Okay, Saudi Arabia money, investors bought out this company for a big old $55 billion. That's a lot of freaking money. J Crypto saying EO has been bought out by the Saudi holding company. Boy, these new games are about to be real different LMAO. Okay, Saudi Arabia, they got money, they got oil, they got a lot of it. And they've been buying into the gaming franchise for quite some time. I believe they have owned a large portion of like the Fatal Fury franchise. I have to double check that, but I believe that's the case. And I also believe we talked about maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks ago about how I believe the Saudi Arabia company is also acquiring assets into Evo 2K, one of the biggest gaming tournaments of all time that's hosted in Las Vegas. So Saudi, they just said, you know what? We want to take over gaming and we're going to buy everything. So why is this such a freaking big deal and what does it mean to EA gaming and gaming in general? What's going on? This article from USA Today by Greta Cross said Jared Kushner, Saudi Arabia, more backers to buy EA and $55 billion deal. What this means for gamers. That's right, Jared Kushner. If you have heard this name before, that is Donald Trump's son-in-law. Okay, so now all the gang's all here. Saudi Arabia is looking to diversify its investments outside of oil, which is why it is interested in acquiring Electronic Arts. The article reads that President Donald Trump's son-in-law, Saudi Arabia's government, and other backers are closing in on a $55 billion deal to purchase the video game company responsible for developing and publishing popular game franchises like The Sims, Madden NFL, and Battlefield. Electronic Arts, or EA, announced on Monday, September 29th, that was yesterday, that it will be privately acquired by Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, PIF, Silver Lake, and Affinity Partners during the 2027 fiscal year. The latter of the investors, Affinity Partners, was founded by Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law, who is married to Trump's eldest daughter, Ivanka Trump. Upon the finalization of the acquisition, EA will remain headquartered in Redwood City, California, and Andrew Wilson will continue to serve as the CEO, according to a news release. The acquisition announcement comes less than a month before the release of EA's highly anticipated Battlefield 6, set to release on October 10th. The first-person shooter has turned heads for his trailers, featuring actors like Zac Efron. Zac Efron is in Battlefield 6? Morgan Wallen, Jimmy Butler, and Patty Pimblett. Dang, I didn't know Zac Efron was in Battlefield 6. So I kept scrolling down because some of it was a little bit fluff. This one's a good question. Why is Saudi Arabia interested in EA? Saudi Arabia's interest in EA is part of a Saudi Vision 2030, a program which encourages the country's diversification of investments outside of just oil. Okay, so you know how I talk to you guys about diversifying your portfolio. Okay, don't just invest in like one stock. Don't take all your money and be like, hey, Omni, should I invest in Apple? Okay, I'll take all of my money and just buy Apple stock. It's actually not a terrible idea, to be honest, based on Apple stock. But the point is that you're putting all your eggs in one basket. That's not what you're supposed to do when you're investing in finance, unless you're trying to be very risky, and and then you're just gambling at that point. So they're all in oil, and oil is pretty much good to have, to be honest, because people still need it. People are still using it. But it looks like Saudi Arabia for the 2030 program is saying, you know what? Let's spread our money and diversify into other industries. Okay, the gaming industry. I would not be surprised if they started investing in the anime industry, because as you guys know, we'll talk about this later, Demon Slayer, the movie that just came out, the new one, the Infinity Castle or something, just crossed like $650 million on the box office. Okay, that's bigger than Superman. That's bigger than Fantastic Four. I think it might be the #1 best-selling movie of the year of 2025. And you know what that means. I heard, okay, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. I heard Trump just put a tariff on foreign movies right after that happened. More than later. The point is that Saudi, they're diversifying. Anyway, it says in 2021, PIF, the investors, invested about $3.3 million in Activision Blizzard and founded Savvy Games Group, a video game development, publishing, investment company. PIF has also invested in Nintendo, and Saudi Arabia hosted the 2025 Esports World Cup. That's right. I believe it has something to do with Street Fighter. I think they're in there as well. So yes, they're getting into the gaming space very, very aggressively. So what does this all mean? Why are people potentially concerned about Saudi Arabia getting involved with EA and acquiring more into the gaming space? Let me explain. As most of you guys know, okay, video gaming is not just for gaming and entertainment, okay? They're more than just that, all right? They're vehicles, they're cars for like storytelling and values and cultural narratives, okay? A lot of you guys may have accidentally based a large portion of your personality just of one video game that you played or one anime that you watched or one movie, okay? And you're like, wow, I really like that. I want to make that my entire freaking personality. So basically, with a very heavy investment and that kind of influence, it basically allows them to control the narrative of the stories that get greenlit or what's censored or what kind of perspectives will basically dominate the scene. So a lot of people are kind of worried that this might be a thing where Saudi Arabia reshapes the global cultural perception of like things through gaming. Kind of similar like how Hollywood does with its films, or like, you know, Southern Korea with K-pop, you know, how it basically shapes cultural things worldwide. A lot of you guys know this, but Saudi Arabia has a lot of views when it comes to women and LGBTQ, journalists, anybody who publicly dissents against them. Okay, they have some values that a lot of people around the world don't agree with. So for them to basically invest into a large portion of the media that a lot of people around the world kind of play, it feels a little bit weird for some people. It's also kind of interesting as well, because what happens is if they continue to pour more money into the gaming space, other investors who are kind of not about that life are going to become pressured into kind of working with them. All right. It's politics. It's turning into human rights and politics, and it's now bleeding into your video games. It always has, to be honest. To be frank, it always has. I know we don't like to say that, but we don't like to talk about. But it's always been in there. It's just sometimes we just don't see the strings that kind of creates it. But yeah, that's the long and short of it. Okay, and that's the kind of concern that's happening in the industry. If Saudi Arabia and the oil money and they continue to acquire, I would not be surprised if they started investing into anime. Okay, because like I said, we just talked about Demon Slayer. No, we haven't talked about Demon Slayer. We'll talk about that later. And you know daggone well that anime shapes the world. So imagine if they're like, yeah, let's start investing in things could happen. It can get kind of a little funky wonky. So I'll keep you guys posted and let you know if there's any updates from that. But that's the EA acquisition. And yeah, the world is changing. Speaking of Demon Slayer and Donald Trump, that's right. I never thought that I would put those two together, but it might be a connection. Okay, pay attention. All right, Donald Trump may have watched Animu, okay? Still said Trump announces a 100% tariff on movies made outside of the US. He first mentioned wanting to do this back in May, okay? But the announcement unironically, or unironically, which I don't know which one I'm using. But yeah, it came out right after the announcement that Demon Slayer basically overtook the box office. We got this post from Donald Trump that he posted on the Truth Social. He said, "Our movie making business has been stolen from the United States of America by other countries, just like quote unquote candy from a baby. California, with its weak and incompetent governor, have been particularly hard hit. Therefore, in order to solve this long time, never ending problem, I will be imposing a 100% tariff on any and all movies that are made outside of the United States. Thank you for the attention to this matter. Make America." So in essence, okay, you guys, we've talked about tariffs before. In essence, a 100% tariff is essentially saying that if any country makes any movies outside of the United States, okay, but they want to broadcast it or show it into movie, you got to now pay, they have to pay, which then it comes into our pockets, and a tariff for us to view their internationally made movie. That includes Demon Slayer. All right. Some of the best movies, you know, in my opinion, have come out have been international. You got Parasite, you know, like Korea, it makes some really freaking great movies. I think they made Parasite. They made something else that came out recently as well, right? They killing it. They also killing it with anime. They got Solo Leveling that's going on. Like South Korea is going wow. But Japan is coming out with movies. We've got Demon Slayer coming out in 2 years, 2027, and a part 3 coming out in 2029. So this is definitely it's interesting because now we're tariffing art. Okay, the things that people like to watch, and we're saying that some art needs to be more expensive than others. The other thing he said was the movie industry in America is dying a very fast death. Other countries are offering all sorts of incentives to draw our filmmakers and studios away from the United States. Hollywood and many other areas within the USA are being devastated. This is a concentrated effort by the nations and therefore a national security threat. It is in addition to everything else messaging and propaganda. Therefore, I'm authorizing the Department of Commerce and the United States Trade Representatives to immediately begin the process of instituting a 100% tariff on any and all movies coming into our country that are produced in foreign lands. We want movies made in America again. Okay, so the idea is that if you mix the pot and you start working with the rest of the world, right? Well, you might also start adopting some of the rest of the world's views and ideologies. That would be absolutely terrifying if we all came together as you know, and worked together, and that'd be bad propaganda, right? We're gonna start spreading. So I think what he's trying to suggest or communicate is that if people start working with foreign countries and these countries that he might be viewed as countries that he does not like anymore, or having views that he does not like anymore, then they're going to basically use these movies to push their values, like I just talked about when it came to EA games, and put it onto the American people. And he's like, nah, let's keep it here in America where we can basically shape and format and put exactly what we want the narrative to be. It's about information or misinformation or disinformation and control and power. It always has been, and it always will be. But guys, before we get further into today's topics, I'm happy to announce that today's video is sponsored by Dbrand. Dbrand is a company that excels in making heavily customized accessories for electronic devices. Phones, laptops, gaming systems, controllers, AirPods. If you can think it, they definitely have it. I'll keep today's sponsor short and sweet. Okay, I'm pretty sure you have a Nintendo Switch too, and this thing costs you an arm and a leg, and the games are like $100 plus, okay? This is something you need to protect. Dbrand has a case called the Kill Switch, okay? This bad boy, once you put this into this, this literally becomes impenetrable. It's extremely easy to install. I'm gonna do it right here. There's 3 pieces, the 2 grips and then the front plate. And then once these things are on, okay, you can throw this bad boy on as well. And yeah, you basically have an impenetrable fortress. And it comes with a dock, so you don't have to keep taking the case off, okay? You can literally just plug it right onto here and do exactly what the Nintendo Switch 2 dock already does, okay? So it keeps you protected and connected. You guys can go over to dbrand.com/omni. You'll be supporting the channel. Go ahead and grab yourself a Kill Switch. This thing is really freaking nice, high quality, and you won't have to worry any kind of oopsie woopsies. And again, special thanks to Dbrand for sponsoring today's video. This one is a big one, and this is a huge continuation from what we used to talk about, the Completionist. Really named Dan. A lot of you guys asked me to talk about this. Okay, this one's gonna be a little bit difficult to kind of summarize. I'll do my best because it's been so long. He said, the return of the Completionist. That's right. You recognize this man here with very, very godlike beard and hair. I kind of wish I had some of that Viking stuff. I can't grow it. I get patches, right? And then I start trying to grow it. It don't look right. So I'm just going to keep the mustache and the goatee. This is like my DLC outfit #1. I'm not going to switch to like Viking Omni. Maybe one day in the future anyway. But yeah, he made a video. It's called You Deserve Answers. If you guys don't know who this is the Completionist. He's a YouTuber, and he got canceled. Literally, when I say canceled, I mean like the word cancel, okay? About 2 years ago, for a situation with, let me do my best to summarize it. So essentially, this guy, the Completionist, and his family have an organization called Open Hand, right? That's a charity place where basically, you know, they take in money and they gather and fundraise it, and then they donate it. One of the places they would like to do this for is in honor of his mother. I believe that she died from, I don't want to say what it was. I want to say it might have been dementia, but she was sick and then she died, and it was in honor of her. So they have this Open Hand charity where they basically, yes, donate for that cause. However, what ended up happening was 2 YouTubers, okay, Mutahar, Some Ordinary Gamers, and Karl Jobst, all right? They both basically came together to interview this guy to basically be like, hey, there's something funky wonky going on. We got a tip that says that you might not actually be doing the right thing with your charity money. What is going on? Which then led to an interview between those two, which then led to several videos about this guy getting canceled for allegations with charity fraud, okay? The issue was that a lot of people had donated money to Open Hands and to the charity for the Completionist. He creates this whole thing. He had this thing where he raises money for charity, right? But people started realizing that their money was not actually being donated. It was being held in a specific account. Apparently him and his family were arguing about where it should be donated, is what his explanation was. But people were kind of concerned because they caught him in a lie when he would basically tell people that their money would be going towards a certain cause, okay? So the dishonesty and the lie and the admittance of that then led to everybody creating conspiracy theories about what is really happening. Because once you get caught in that one lie and you messing up with people's money, right? It then starts to go forward and starts to say, what else is a lie? What is real? Are you deceiving us? Is this a deceptive practice? Is this a scam? So as you guys can see here, it says You Deserve Answers. It's got 417,000 views in 4 days, 4,000 comments, and an overwhelmingly liked ratio. I watched this video on stream when I was just kind of like doing a little quiet gaming stream. I think it was like day before yesterday or something like that. And I have to say that while I feel like there's still a lot of fluff, I still feel like it was a pretty decent response after the past 2 years. I'll basically summarize it for you guys here in case you have not seen it, or if you have seen it. The first minute and 51 seconds is him basically talking about the beginning, saying like, hey, here's what happened from the get-go, and he gives you the full recap and the story of this whole anime arc like a goddamn One Piece flashback. He then talks about taking responsibility, and I think I might play this clip because this was the thing that a lot of people were upset about, was they felt like he did not take accountability. Back when all of this happened, he made a response video that seemed to be more like a passive-aggressive attack onto Mutahar and Karl Jobst because he did not agree with their assessments on him, and that kind of backfired because he was in the wrong in a lot of areas that people did not feel like he was actually taken accountable for. So they were kind of like, yeah, brother, that's the worst response video ever. Get out of our face.
However, even if we never broke the law, serious moral mistakes were still made by myself and the foundation. The Open Hand took far too long to donate. We never explained why it took so long until after everyone called us out. And I lied about this for all of Indieland's years, both knowingly in 2023 and unknowingly in all the years before. But it doesn't matter what kind of explanation either I or anyone else involved might provide. This happened, and rightfully so, it pissed off everyone. To my viewers and donors, friends and collaborators, I am so sorry for hiding the truth. It was selfish, full stop. I want you all to have the context as to how everything happened, but nothing I've said so far is an excuse, and neither is anything else in this video. All of this is on me. Even if it wasn't exactly how I imagined things would go, my goal always was to make sure this money got donated to the right place as quickly as possible, and I'm immensely thankful that it got done. So, with that in mind, I'm sure many of you still have a ton of questions, especially about why this happened in the first place and where I've been for the past year. I want to take some time to tell my side of the story and how we got here, but But I also want to clear up many of the false accusations made against me, along with addressing the individuals who not only broke this story, but pushed it into the realm of conspiracy.
Okay, so he said, I'm sorry. I lied. And that's a pretty big thing, right? Because he owned up to the fact that, yes, he intentionally misled his audience and told them that the money that he was basically collecting for charity was not actually going to the places where it was actually going, right? That was the biggest gripe. I'm starting to remember all of this now. And I remember that being my biggest gripe. I honestly did not care about the conspiracy theories about going into the deep about his family and what might be happening, blah, blah, blah. I was like, were any laws broken? And did you lie? Because they kept showing these clips that showed that like he knew something, but then he would say something different, right? At this point, he said, I lied. I was dishonest. I knowingly lied to you guys, and I'm sorry, and that was bad, and I shouldn't have done that. At this point, people can either take it or leave it. They can say, all right, cool, you took a responsibility. It's been 2 years. You've been working about it, and we're fine. Some other people will be like, no, you lied. That was very immoral to do, especially when charity is at stake. So no, not messing with you. But now everybody has their own response that they can make from this. Watching more into the video, okay, his explanation, which actually sounds pretty like justifiable, is that he was not attempting to do anything illegal in terms of like shady. The money was always going to be donated. The issue was how it was going to be donated, whether it was going to be a big lump sum spirit bomb into a company in order to show it, or was it going to be in minimal amounts? Also trying to figure out which company or which place or which donor that would accept it in the way that they would like. But essentially saying that, yes, he was stupid, but he was not trying to be a thief. He just was lying because he found himself in a place where things was a little bit over his head. That's his explanation. The next part here, he talks about the foundation origins, okay, which I'm not going to get into. Talks about how Open Hand, how it started, yada, yada, yada. This next chapter here talks about the core problem, and it talks about Karl Jobst and Mutahar. So again, this is still a recap talking about what happened when eventually Karl Jobst and Mutahar put him on that interview. And he basically communicates that he freaked the hell out and had a panic attack because he knows that these two guys, once they started asking him these questions, he could see the future of his ass getting canceled. And like, I can empathize with that, right? Like, if you've seen the internet enough, right? It's absolutely terrifying to be like, oh my God, am I about to be on a freaking thumbnail with these two guys being investigative journalists? And are they going to make claims about me that are they true or not true? And oh my freaking God. And apparently Maz had a panic attack is what he said. He just started just word vomiting. It just... That I can empathize with.
I hopped on the call assuming that this would just be the two of us, until my surprise, I saw Karl join. The rest of what's publicly available to all of you is essentially me having a panic attack while trying to be transparent with two creators I respected at the time, all at the behest of throwing my friends and family under several buses. I saw the headlines coming, and I spiraled, losing control of everything. I did my best to reiterate my family's infighting, the struggles with finding a donor for a restricted donation, and that no matter what was going to happen, all the money was accounted for and ready to be donated.
Okay, so it's important too as well, and the context is kind of important too as well. Again, it does come to matter whether you believe him or not, but with more context, things do start to make sense. Okay, apparently he's like the youngest of like 5. I believe he said he was Lebanese, and his basically suggesting that like basically his family probably didn't respect him. Okay, his parents wanted him to be like an engineer or a doctor, and he became a YouTuber, and they're like, "What the hell, bro?" So he probably didn't have the authority to kind of, or the sway, or the influence, or even the knowledge, or the understanding of how these things might have worked in the background. Mans was just completing video games, and I think he basically resigned from the board after so. But he just kind of basically, if you look at the totem pole, and if you have a family and you're aware of how these families can sometimes be, then they kind of like, you know, give the least amount of respect for the youngest or the people who don't follow in line with the path that they want them to follow. We then fast forward to this chapter, right? The immediate aftermath and the personal consequences, okay? His concern was like, look, I believe that we have proved that nothing illegal has happened. There was no laws broken, okay? But when this all blew up, Muta and Karl was kind of like, you might want to, here's my Karl impression. You might want to report him to the FC, that the completionist probably may have committed charity scam and may need to be reported to the to the FBI. Really, like a bunch of strangers, thousands of people was just reporting this man and his company to the government. Okay, basically being like, yo, check this man out, check him out, because we think that something shady is going on because of the initial lead of the deceptive lies that they told his audience, okay, which led into how much further do these lies go? Are you covering up for more or not? It then led to both Muta and I think mainly more so Karl. He shows a lot of receipts where they started going deeper and deeper into theory of these conspiracy theories of how things actually played, and it started to bleed a lot into his personal relationship with his family, right? It's actually similar. Karl Jobst is a YouTuber who talks about scams and frauds and liars, and he recently got sued and lost a lawsuit for talking about another creator named Billy Mitchell. Billy Mitchell sued him for defamation because in his videos he basically went too hard in the paint and made some allegations that were not true, that had to do with this guy Apollo Legend who died, and absolute mess, you legend. So now we're kind of in a place where Karl Jobst is going to respond to this video, and people are like, uh-oh, Karl, are you about to make some more allegations again that potentially might also get you sued again for the same thing again? There's this place right here, this line here says addressing false claims. And he spends this entire section basically looking at the claims that are coming out from the internet or coming from Karl or Muta, and basically like, here's what everything that you said, here's why they're false, and here's the receipts as well. Okay, so he just spends this entire section debunking false claims. Again, this section was very good. He provided all the receipts for people. It was a perfectly good explanation. For this section, when it comes to conspiracy and theories and accusers, is pretty big. I'll play a little bit for you. Okay, this one was huge because what happened was people and Karl, I think specifically, was going very deeper in the paint, trying to figure out like what was happening with him, his family. Did his dad have a mistress? And they kept posted these Discord receipts, bro.
As for Karl, he actually acknowledges that he doesn't correctly cite any of the laws that I supposedly broke.
I couldn't give two shits if any of that is illegal or illegal. It would not affect my own moral judgments because I don't base my morals on whether or not a court convicts someone of a crime.
However, instead of admitting that he got anything wrong in his videos, Karl conveniently says that he is not a journalist, he's just making entertainment.
The purpose of a YouTube video is first and foremost to entertain, because if a video isn't easy to understand or entertaining, people won't watch it and I will get less money.
Accusations of criminal wrongdoing and inexcusable moral...
Oh God, I have to believe that's sometimes when I hear Karl like basically make up, I will get less money. Like I have to believe that it's part of the shtick. It's got to be a part of the humor. It's got to be a part of the joke. Because like there's no one who's just like specifically like he's right, but like it's got to be inserted in that way for comedic purposes. I have to believe that because there's no way that you just exist and say that like with a straight face and without comedy or humor being involved.
Moral character are now a form of entertainment and should not be taken as fact, despite the fact that Karl cites himself constantly as an investigative journalist, both in his GoFundMe campaigns, on the record in the courtroom in several different cases, and even in one of his most recent videos.
My channel and my investigative work improved dramatically after I got sued.
Despite the best efforts that I put in my initial response video, I was never going to win, no matter what I said. The money got donated, but that was never the true goal.
So this was bad. He kept posting these tweets, I think from like Karl's Discord. Like Karl's Discord got some ops in there, right? That's leaking it. And it says here, Karl Jobst, my vid will be the final nail. He is fucked after my vid. Totally fucked. Now look, this is the part where you realize that Karl is trying to put this man in the grave. Okay, the difference between like me and Karl Jobst, he's an investigative journalism. This is the reason why you'll never find like any hit pieces with me where I come out and be like, hey guys, I did some sleuthing and breaking news never seen before. This man is a gun man. Like I will never do that, right? Because that's not what I'm good at. I just don't have that title. I'm a nigga who just yaps and talks about what's kind of happening, gives my opinions and gives you guys objective But everything that I say is going to be allegedly. I'm not like CoffeeZilla, who's actually an investigative journalism on the internet, sleuthing and trying to figure out the mysteries of these people who are these bad people. But it looks like Karl keeps dancing in between I'm an entertainer and I'm an investigative journalism, but then switching over to I'm an entertainer when it's more you can't like, you know, you're either one or the other. Okay, you're either one or the other. You can't just, you know, conveniently switch to both or one when it's most convenient to you. But yeah, my point is that Karl is basically trying to bury the completionist. And as he continues to bury the completionist based on the information that he has, it's showing that's his goal. His goal is to bury this guy.
For Karl and Mutahar to succeed, I had to be irredeemable, and nothing I could have legally provided at the time would have been enough.
Which I will once again prove in this video that you cannot take Gerard at his word. He is proven to be somebody that is deceptive.
That's true. So again, he has proven to be someone that's deceptive. So it is hard to take this is the part of the video that I feel like, again, in his video, which he did take accountability. This is the part he's about to do, the final accountability. He was deceptive. He did lie. So now they made everything an open book for an investigation, especially when you are lying about where people's money is going. Okay, that's a big deal. You can't just be like, whoops, okay, I lied. Okay, but everything else is good, right? No, it's called credibility. And it's hard to take things for his word literally, okay? Which is why he has to take accountability. There is no like, I'm a good guy here and they're the bad guys. It's like, hey, yeah, I did some stuff that I shouldn't do. It was stupid, and you have every reason to kind of look into it. It just seems like maybe Karl and Muta went way too hard into the paint, and he's concerned about the fact that they didn't issue any kind of corrections or updates or admit that they were wrong in this entire process when it came to certain parts.
It was my 16-minute video under the scrutiny of countless legal professionals versus their 8+ hours of sponsored conspiracy-based attacks. So, as a recap, yes, I did lie about where the donations were going, knowingly so after Indieland 2022. I tried to take responsibility privately by making sure that the money got donated appropriately, hoping that I could minimize the damage this might do to everyone in my life, keeping this a secret to prevent anyone else from being complicit. In reality, continuing to hide this throughout 2023 only made everything worse, because now I was still directly complicit. There was always going to be hell to pay, and I was just being stupid about all of this. I should have just partnered with the organization directly, made things right from the beginning, and not cared about restricted donations or where the money was going. I also should not have gone ahead with Indieland in 2023. The show had taken a life of its own because it finally was receiving the notoriety for all of our team's hard work, and I did not want to hurt or betray everyone that put their blood, sweat, and tears into the show. This was just as important to indie games as it was to charity, and that added a ton of expectations and pressure. In the end, I made a choice that cost my team their employment and ruined their lives, not to mention all the residual flack of every indie developer that they received just because of their association to me. It was short-sighted and dishonest. I should have come clean as soon as I learned about it and separated myself and the event from my family immediately. With all that being said, though, what I did not do was steal, embezzle, or otherwise misappropriate donor funds for anything.
Okay. That was pretty good. He literally said, yup, I lied. I was dishonest. Here's how I was dishonest. Here's why I shouldn't have been dishonest. And it was bad. And I've ruined people's lives for it. And I'm sorry. I don't think he said sorry. I'm sure he said sorry somewhere here. But that was my biggest gripe. I remember a year ago where I was like, I feel like you're not really addressing these kind of deceptive things that are being said about what you've said. They were lies, bro. And now he's addressing it. And I'm going to stop the video. I'm going to stop this part here of the review. This is the completionist trying to take accountability, the final accountability. And I feel like this was a good follow-up, hopefully a finish, which I am kind of worried that it won't be now at this point. Because here's Karl Jobst as of September 25th, this 5 days. So my guess is he may be cooking on a video that says the recent Gerard video is unfortunately, I want to read it in his voice. The recent Gerard videos is unfortunately full of lies again. My next video will be a response. After experiencing my own public backlash, I sympathize with what he went through. It truly isn't pleasant. his persistent dishonesty is really baffling, though. So he's claiming and saying that Gerard is still, at this point, even in this video, lying and being dishonest. And if he's got receipts to kind of to show it, then I'm interested in it, but I don't know. Again, we are just kind of spectators being like, damn, this is crazy. Damn, this is crazy. Damn, this is crazy. But Karl is in this, man, and he's trying to, I have made plenty of mistakes, Karl said. There are plenty of things to criticize me for, and I will attempt to own them as much as possible. But for some reason, he felt compelled to straight up lie about things that are easily disproved. So, Karl's coming out with a video. Man. In my opinion, there are just some strings that must stop being pulled. There are just some you've got to let things go, bro. This is why I have the philosophy is that I have no enemies. Omni, why aren't you enemy? Why aren't you an enemy? I have none. I have no beef. I have no squabble. I just don't, except for the black dude who dances and eats food. That's him and somebody else as well. I forget who. But otherwise, I just don't, because it's not worth it. It's quite not worth it. And I think some people get too lost in the sauce of the internet sauce. And it's not healthy in my opinion. We have to just kind of look at the fact that yes, we are humans and that we make mistakes. And now it's a battle between these two. Yo, come together, say, you know what? I went too hard in the paint. I think I had some conspiracy theories about what was going on because you was being deceptive, and I kind of made me feel like there was more deception going on, and I need to retract some stuff and, take accountability. Bam. Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, I didn't do anything illegal, but also I did some things that were very dishonest and immoral, and I can understand why it led you to that point. I shouldn't have done that either. That's it. GG's. Go do your own stuff. Completionist, go complete some games. Karl Jobst, go talk about more scammers and frauds. All right, we don't... End this nonsense, man. End it. That's how I feel about it. You guys can let me know how you feel about it. That's the Karl Jobst, Muta, and the follow-up with the Completionist. I'll let you guys know if there are any updates. My guess is that there will. But all right, guys, that's all I have for today's video, okay? I'm saving some of the stuff that you guys wanted me to talk about for a video tomorrow. That's right. 2 videos in a row. Okay. I realize, this is going to be a long video, right? But maybe instead of talking and yapping to you guys for like almost 2 hours straight into video. Okay. What if it wasn't 2 hours? What if it was 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, back to back to back to back to back. Let me not give you guys too much food on your plate. And then you're like, I can't eat all of this, Omni. I know some of you guys like, no, Omni, you can feed me as much as you want. I'll eat all of it. Okay. Stop. But the point is yeah, I got some more stuff to talk to you guys about, but also the reason why I want to cut this video short and stop here is so that I don't have to spend all day editing, because I want to play video games. I want to play some video games. Okay. So there's a lot more that I want to talk to you about. So just tune in tomorrow. I'll have it tomorrow. I will. I promise. Okay. It will happen. I won't break my promise when I say I promise. But until then, I want to go play some video games. I want to play Hades 2. I want to play Final Fantasy Tactics. Final Fantasy Tactics just came out, bruh. Final Fantasy Tactics is my favorite RPG of all time. And I'm not saying that, I don't always say of all time. Okay. I think, well, maybe not of all time. Final Fantasy Tactics is the best RPG in the Final Fantasy series, in my opinion. I have it ranked at the top as number 1. And if you disagree, fight me about it. Okay. There is Delita, one of the best bad guys of all time. And it's just such a good theme. It's music, crisp, battle system, yelling, just delicious. I can't wait to play that. And I want to play it on stream. There's some other games that I want to play as well that I have in my backlog. October to December is going to be my healing arc of gaming. And honestly, trying to balance all the freaking unhealthiness and the noise around the world. And the second channel that I want to make as well, we're going to do a lot of fun things, and I'm going to enjoy life. So I hope you guys join with me. I love you guys. I miss you guys. You guys take it easy. Brush your teeth. Stay safe out on these streets, because these streets are not safe. And I'll keep you posted and updated on how these streets, what's happening on these streets, so that you can stay safe on these streets. I love you guys. Y'all take it easy. Peace.